Sorry about that. We called to order at 7:00 PM. We're just reviewing the consent agenda items. There's nothing of note in the consent agenda.
Well, I look at this every month and it finally dawned on me to ask, there are some items that are highlighted.
There are so many numbers. I thought it would be useful to you if I highlighted some of the numbers that I find to be the most interesting.
Okay,
That's all that means.
that's all that means, okay.
If you're somebody that likes to quote statistics to people, you could say, well, last month we had this many reference questions at the library. If that's, you
I
know,
feel
something
seen.
you enjoy doing. I kind of thought you would. I kind of thought you would.
Are you talking to me?
I aim to please. So yeah, it's easier with all of those numbers. It's just easier to focus on a few, I think, that tell the story.
Presuming nothing else to be added, I'll make a motion to be accepted.
Did anyone else have any other questions? Okay, Holiday Works second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any nays? Okay, thank you. Consent agenda items are approved. We can move down to comments from observers. I don't see any in the room. Do we have any online?
No.
Next up is Susan and the Friends of the Library.
Hi,
I guess
so
yours are-
it's been a while since I've been here, so it was important for me to come. And Carrie's here too, but I guess what I would like to really quick say is we had a very busy weekend here. The community had a garage sale and we took part in that. Very easy to do if anybody thinks they might want to do it, but we're a little intimidated. Tents outside, tables outside, merchandise outside, and people came and bought
In
like
droves.
crazy. Yeah, on Saturday, Saturday we had the community garage sale, but it was also the first day of the small book crawl, bookstore crawl. And
I'm sorry,
we
you didn't
were
notice.
regular business, so on Saturday we brought in 2,396.
What, I'm sorry, I missed the amount, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, yes, 2,396.50. So
2,000?
you could call that
2,400.
2,396.50.
Okay, thanks.
It was hopping, busy people all the time. We had people here, volunteers, restocking shelves all day long. But it was very fun. Because there were people that were book crawl people, there were garage sale fanatics. It was pretty amazing.
And you did register with the yard sale because our address was listed on the list of addresses participating, so that probably helped
Yeah.
too.
It did.
The first person we had stop by, we were still setting up the tents. Somebody came by at like 8:15 asking if we had yard sale maps, which we didn't. They get started early.
And then on Sunday, we were open, not typically, but just to bookstore people came, and we did $891 on Sunday, and that's a lot of money.
So 2,400 Saturday, 900 Sunday?
Yes,
And
then
seemed a better weekend.
Monday was 642, and I'm tracking it because this is the book time. And I know we did increase last year, so we did for this quarter, we did and a lot more people, and a lot more business. And even today, I stopped up here and there were people getting their passport stamped, people getting their ice cream thing stamped. It's definitely a huge, so I'm gonna pay attention to all week and just see how that.
I think the Pittsburgh Book Crawl is a great advertisement for you all. Like, it's like, so many people don't realize that there's such a good bookstore here.
It's going on through this weekend as well, right?
Correct, through the following Sunday, which I don't know what date that is. Yeah. So that, and then I also want to talk about, because I'm also involved in the PCBL in the state. And something that something we've always done, but something that just happened that we've always given out 4 scholarships to librarians who have never gone to the PALA conference. And we just, I don't know that they've been awarded, but their names have been pulled, so there will be 4. I know the names, I don't have them with me though, but 4 librarians who have never gone before will be able to go. And I think it's a great thing for us to give, and we get to see because we'll be at that conference, and those librarians will come up and say, thank you so much. And they had no idea what a good thing it was until they got there and could take these sessions and things like that. And then we put them in our newsletter.
You have the dates of the conference.
October 4th through the 7th at the Harrisburg Hilton.
Yeah.
You all want to come with me?
Is that
We
near
could-
the library, the
We
state
could get a little
library?
mini bus. It could be fun.
That's what I always wanted to go to
Yeah,
state
it is.
library.
It is within walking distance.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
We typically do tours or have an evening reception there or something.
If anybody thinks they want to go, you should go.
You
Because
should,
I
yes.
went, the first time, of course, I wanted to go,
Right.
but it was dumb luck that got me there. And I did as many sessions as I could. Do I know how to talk to municipal authority people? Yes. Did I learn how to talk even better? Yes. So I would say, and then I sat in sessions that you would think, well, why do you care about this? Then you hear whatever it is they're talking about. There's just so much. So if anybody had a thought that they wanted to go, you should try to go. And
Is
Holiday,
that-
this year, we're doing a tour of the Capitol building, including the Senate Library and the Senate chambers as well.
Is that a weekend or is that a Monday to like Tuesday?
It's Sunday to Wednesday. Wednesday is our legislative advocacy day, where we go and meet with our local reps on Capitol Hill and talk to them about the importance of maintaining funding for libraries, et cetera.
What day is that? What day is that?
October 7th.
Oh, okay, that's
The
last
Wednesday
day.
of the conference, last day, yeah.
And that's all I have. And I don't know, maybe you have
I
something.
don't have anything.
I walked through the book sale on Saturday on my way to a meeting over here and it was packed,
Mhm.
so thank you.
Yeah.
Comments from our commission liaison, Anna's not here.
No, and honestly, the last couple of commission meetings I've gone to have not been very eventful, which is always a good thing, but they're bare bonesing it as much as possible, I think, during the summer.
Okay.
Just, you know. They're getting everything done that they need to get done, but there's not a lot of extra conversation.
President's report, I don't have one unless anybody has any questions for me about anything.
You mean about Green Day?
Yeah.
I was thinking
Bruce
more officially,
Springsteen, I mean,
but,
You two have a lot to talk about.
director's report, Robin has stuff to talk about.
I do have stuff to talk about. Okay, so I am required by bylaws to report to you about new employees, and I have copied you on recent emails about the employees, but for the record, we have recently hired 2 full-time employees. We've replaced Senior Services Librarian Jane Millard with Anna Mae Bolin. She is a librarian coming to us from the Allegheny branch of Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh. That's on the north side. She is wonderful librarian. She's been here since July 6th and is so already making inroads into getting to know the community. I think she's gonna do a great job. And with Marina Nielsen's retirement on June 30th, we needed to fill that position as well. So we've hired a full-time library administrative assistant. Her name is Jamie Matthias. She's a Mount Lebanon resident. She's most recently founded and directed her own nonprofit, Animal Rescue. And she has a ton of relevant experience in event planning, data analysis, administrative work. I think she'll be a great fit for the role.
Just because when people change, sometimes it's an opportunity to reshuffle things. Is her role gonna be any different than Marina's? Or
It is
the
gonna be
same?
slightly different. We're trying to align some of it, because she and M.A. Jackson split the job. And it was just kind of like, people came and went at different times, and you just got, like, for instance, Marina was in charge of sending out the newsletters, even though she's not in charge of other social media and marketing and promotions, just because the newsletters went through the donor software. So Marina was doing it, but this really is more in MA's wheelhouse. So MA is going to take over that kind of thing, whereas Jamie will be doing, like, booking the meeting rooms and some of the more administrative stuff that MA had inherited from her predecessor. So yeah, we're trying to kind of align things to balance the work better and make sure that it makes sense who's doing what. Okay, a few more things. Tomorrow, I will be receiving a couple of checks from a very large donation we received in a bequest. I'm not sure about how the family wants me to release this information. I'm still trying to find out about that, but it sounds like we'll be getting most of the money tomorrow. It's in several different accounts, I'm told. So we're getting at least 3 different checks to make up the total amount, which is very significant and will be a great help in our big renovation project, which we'll discuss later. Yeah, it's wonderful. See, some things for the record. I recently attended the American Library Association conference, and because I make my staff do a little report for you all every time they attend a conference, I did one myself. I was there for about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. I attended a session on libraries as dementia-capable hubs, advancing brain health through design, training, and community partnerships. I attended the Jane Addams Children's Book Awards on site at the Hull House Museum, which was somewhere I've wanted to go my entire life since I read that juvenile biography of Jane Addams when I was like 8 years old. Super excited about that. I also attended a Playaway, that's a vendor that does the little Playaway audiobooks and little iPad things for children. They have a new product, the Launchpad Quest, which is basically a touchscreen computer isolated from the internet for use by children. It's preloaded with games and activities and things like that. So we held that at the Henry Crown Space Center, which is part of the Science Museum in Chicago, and it was really cool. I attended the John Cotton Dana Awards ceremony, which is a marketing awards for libraries. I spent a lot of time in the expo hall talking to vendors about our project and about exhibiting at the Pennsylvania Library Association conference. On Sunday, I heard keynote speaker Dr. Jill Biden.
Oh,
Yes. And I attended, Work Wisdom, Discover the Art of Authentic Communication. And I attended the Rainbow Roundtable networking event with some friends. On Monday, I attended Addressing Patron Sexual Harassment and Reference Services and keynote speaker Billy Porter, who is in Pittsburgh, so I had to go support him. I was really hoping for a ball gown, but he was not dressed as fabulously as I had hoped, but he still looked amazing as always. And I helped recruit vendors. Like I said, I spoke with vendors about the renovation project. I did a lot of networking, including meeting in person Jenny Pugh, somebody I've known since we did our book sanctuary initiative a year ago. Jenny is the director of the Hoboken Public Library. She is a leader, nationwide leader in the book sanctuary movement. And just this morning, she texted me and asked me if I would speak on a panel with her at the Brooklyn Book Festival in September on my birthday. So it was a very nice start to the day. I'm planning to go, and I think I'm going to take Sharon Bruni with me because she never attends conferences. She always feels too guilty to go, and I know she'd love it. So I'm going to take her.
Where's this at?
Brooklyn, New York, Brooklyn Borough Hall.
Okay, very cool.
I know very little about New York, but yeah, I've got some friends who are there all the time, so they're giving me advice about where to stay and that kind of thing.
Brooklyn is where all the famous people live.
it's gonna be popping at that festival and that,
Do you wanna go
this is so
too?
exciting, yeah, it's amazing.
All right, we'll just bring everybody to
Yeah.
everything. We'll just all
Well,
start
I'm
going around
ready.
like the Partridge
We'll
Family or
go, we're
something.
going to
Brooklyn.
Ireland,
we know we're going to
right,
Ireland.
we're going to the Book of Kells, we can swing that at the
Governance
library.
committee meeting.
You
in
weren't
Brooklyn.
supposed to tell the rest.
Brooklyn one.
I was thinking, I was gonna ask the same thing, yeah, the date, the Brooklyn event,
I will be speaking September 23rd.
okay. Will there be a live link?
Oh, I don't know about that. I know very little details. I don't really know
Okay.
anything about
And is that
this.
on Book Sanctuaries or what's the?
This,
the event?
forgive me while I check my email to get the
I'm
exact
very
title.
excited about it.
I'll go to Brooklyn after Ireland, Ireland first.
The panel tentatively titled Banned, Challenged, Defended, Librarians Speak Out will bring together library professionals to discuss the current landscape of book challenges and bans, the role of librarians in defending intellectual freedom, and the impact of censorship efforts on communities and public institutions. The conversation will be held virtually, so it sounds like there will be a link.
Very cool.
And the event itself is called, like the whole event? Is it a conference?
Brooklyn Book Festival,
Oh, okay.
Excellent. Have they given you a time slot as well?
6 p.m. Eastern.
How many minutes you got?
Since it's a 1 hour.
Well, that is a
thing,
Wednesday.
But I'm part of
which is
a,
a little.
Like a board, like a
It's a
panel?
Wednesday.
yeah, I'm part of a panel, so I won't have to speak for the whole 45 minutes, not that I would.
There'll
have a problem.
it'll be a Q&A format for a part of it?
Mhm. Are you going to heckle?
No, why would I do that?
I don't know, you just look like you were planning, so we wanted
No.
to make sure. Okay, good. Yeah, so that was that. The only other, I have a couple of awards announcements. Scott Buchanan was awarded a Best Practices Award by the Pennsylvania Library Association. Again, I know you'll know this, I'm just putting it on the record, for one of his programs in the children's department. So he will be attending the Pennsylvania Library Association conference to receive that award. And I was recently elected president-elect of the Pennsylvania Library Association for 2027. Which means I will be president in 2028. And I am going on vacation starting this Friday, and I will be unavailable until August 6th.
With all that fancy traveling you're doing,
I
you gotta
know,
get your
it's
vacation.
Been a whirlwind year, I tell you what.
No, all kidding aside, that September event is very cool.
I'm
Meg
very
Cabot will be
excited.
there, author of Princess Diaries.
I saw her speak at Washington DC once. She was advocating with us at a National Library Legislative Day. She was very passionate about
You're booking
libraries.
your tickets now.
I know, I'm very
All
excited.
right, forget the rest of this
Right?
meeting,
I'm just
you're
like-
online, all right?
I love the book festival.
Yeah, I have a WQED board meeting the day after I'm supposed to speak there, so I'm trying to figure out if I can get home in time to go to the annual meeting for the WQED board. I don't know.
Is that everything for your director's report?
That's everything.
Okay.
It was a long
Making
list, I'm
sure.
sorry.
Follow up with that.
Any questions for Robin about any of that? All right, we'll move on to committee reports and our fundraising committee.
Yeah, tough act to follow, thanks, all right?
What about C? You
Oh.
didn't really cover.
ACLA, RAD, E.
Oh, yeah, okay, let's see, thank you. So, oh gosh, we just had I'm sorry, I'm trying to pivot my mind. Maura and Holiday both attended the general membership meeting with me, so if either of you would like to speak about anything that was discussed that evening, you're welcome. I recently was at the Regional Asset District offices I was on a committee to help select. There were requests for proposals put out for a marketing campaign for the RAD Pass. So I was on the committee to help select the advertising agency that is going to do that campaign for them to promote the RAD Pass more heavily, with a goal of getting everyone in Allegheny County to be aware of RAD Pass. Let's see. don't think I have anything else to discuss about ACLA. We've already talked about the e-resources funding increase, which is the main thing to talk about with ACLA at this time of year. And I guess the other thing is that the budget was completed, the state budget, and it's basically flat funding for libraries. So that's, not great, but it's better than a cut. So we were happy with, I think there was a slight cut to the state library of $10,000 or something, but other than that, it was level funding from last year.
Okay. Is that all?
Yes.
Now it's your turn.
That was my turn. We meaning Maura was there, Holiday was there, Robin, you were there. Am I forgetting somebody?
Not from this group.
Not from this group, right? And then we
Had to kick
had,
one of you out of the room.
I know, that's right, we would have had to have said, you have to leave now, because it would have been, we would have had a quorum, that's right. We met July 5th, July 6th, I
That's
forget the
early.
date off the top of my head, along with, I think there were 8 residents of Mount Lebanon who are at various levels. I think it's fair to call them serious gardeners.
Linda Vinnick was there, the chair of the garden.
Yes,
Tour.
yes.
Barbara Logan was the one that asked us to have the meeting. Nancy Smith, who's in charge of our gardens here at the library, was in attendance. There were about 15 people altogether.
And, basically the most important element or item on the agenda that night was, okay, we know we had to do a virtual garden tour in 26. How do we ramp up to ensure that 27 becomes sort of back to normal, for lack of a better word, meaning I'll call it an on-ground versus online garden tour. And a host of ideas were tossed around. The one that generated, I think, the most traction was we're not calling it a virtual open house.
No, it's not virtual, it is in person. So on September,
2nd, I think,
it's
right?
the first Wednesday in September.
Yeah,
Let's see.
September 2nd.
We will be having in meeting room A,
Mhm,
what we are loosely calling a garden tour information session.
mhm.
So this is going to be just an invite for garden tour hosts, potential gardeners, organizations that are interested in gardening to come and talk just in a conversation, kind of panel discussion maybe, but probably not that formal, just about the garden tour, what it's like to be on the garden tour. If potential gardeners have any questions, they can ask the previous hosts. The hosts can talk about what it was like, when they were involved and that kind of thing. So it's really just a chance for gardeners to get together and talk and build up some interest in the garden tour and help us to spread the word about the need for gardens.
One thing, and we're going to look at the notes, but I couldn't remember the number off the top of my head. One thing that we also learned that night, and I think this number has been discussed elsewhere as well, the 2026 garden tour had $11,376 that came in. That's below, and I didn't write down the 2025 number. I just know that it's below what we had for
Well, we had a
2025.
real tour in 25. It
Right.
wasn't exactly 11,000 because some of that money was in the form of gift cards and things that we used just
Okay.
in the gift baskets. But yeah, probably about $8,000 altogether.
8,000, okay. And then
Holiday, I can get you the
I'm
exact
sorry.
number.
And then one of the other things we talked about is to potentially start thinking about, not literally, but sort of a 2-year cycle in that we begin to think about 27 and 28, who's available, et cetera. But also at the 27 garden tour, to have a handout available to, tell people about how you can get involved, how you could host, do you want your garden to be included? So to try to drum up a little more interest a little earlier than perhaps we've even done so traditionally. But the goal above anything else is to return to a traditional garden tour in 27. Holiday, Maura, anything else, any takeaways either of you had from that night?
I mean, there were some ideas about how to get the word out among the
Mhm.
younger groups
Mhm.
somehow. Newsletters or other vehicles that the schools use to talk to parents, kind of thing, that.
So the idea is that, especially as new to Mount Lebanon families move in, this is an event that's got a 30+ year history, and it's a great way to deepen or enmesh yourself into the community perhaps a little faster than you otherwise might. So September 2nd will be the conversation evening. I think we said 7 to 8:30, if I remember right. Maybe 7 to 8, but it'll be roughly this same time slot.
Okay, any questions for Anthony? Those sound like good ideas to me.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, I did think having as many folks, not from the board, no disrespect to any of us, but having those outsider eyes, so to speak, I thought made
Sure.
that meeting really valuable. Yep. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Old business renovation project update.
Yeah, so I actually have something to update you on. Things are finally gonna start moving now. We had a request for proposals for a construction manager. We had 3 return requests for 3 return proposals. We interviewed 2 of those and selected RJS Construction. They were awarded the contract last week at the municipal building because we're a municipal library. Even though it's considered professional work, so that didn't have to go out for public bid. The contract still had to be awarded by the municipality, so that was done in the public meeting last week. And we are getting the contract squared away now with them. We will be meeting with them as soon as we possibly can. And their main priority is to get a plan in place for what's going to be happening over the next couple of months, and especially to get the bid package put together so that construction companies can bid on the actual work of the project. Once the bids are, those proposals are returned to us, then that does go through a public bidding process, which involves opening the bids up in a public hearing at the commission meeting chambers. And then the commission will award based on their criteria. I think it has to do with like the lowest viable bid. And then we will get started hopefully this fall. That's the plan.
Perfect.
So we're, Jeremy is on it. He's moving things along as quickly as he can. He's the point person for this project and he's doing an amazing job.
Any questions about any of that?
So this RJS Construction, being the construction manager, can they also put in a bid to be the actual constructor?
I believe they can. I believe they can. I'm not really well versed on all of this. Like, I know one of the candidates for the construction manager, they have one whole arm of their company is just construction management, and there's another arm for construction. This company we went with is a much smaller organization, so I don't think it's like that, but I'm pretty sure they're permitted to bid on the construction phase as well.
Okay, that's all very exciting. On to new business. We have an action item, approved service level narrative for the 2027 budget.
Yeah, so that's in your packets, page 23, second to last page. Every year we have to do this. I didn't change any of the wording. This is the first part of our budget ask to the municipality. So every year this goes in the manager's recommended budget with these service levels, because we do a zero-based budgeting system here. We don't have numbers yet, so those haven't been put in. We won't have those until after our August budget hearing meeting that Bob and I will attend with Andrew McCreary across the street. But we basically, like I said, haven't really changed these level requests for a few years now. In the last 2 years, I want to say, we've been funded at level 4, which is considered an additional level. The standard appropriation is, you know, what it takes to run the library. But the last couple of years, because the cost of e-resources has been just going up so much faster than everything else, we've asked for the additional funding to help cover the difference between the previous year and the last year. So I think in 24, it was 17,000 something, 25, it was 18,000 something, and 26, it's 22,000. And that's the difference just from year to year. So the increase in percentages is in the 20% every year. Like it's just leaping. And we still can't keep up with demand, as you all know, because Hoopla has been affected and we've, you know, had to reduce in other areas.
So do these 1, 2, 3, 4s on the SL rank, do those belong to those 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yes, yes. So the first level will have what the cost for service level 1 is. The second level will be service level 1 plus the addition to have the extra 10 hours a week. Then service level 3 will be for the full hours, et cetera. So the number 4 will be the total cost of all those hours plus the additional $22,000 for e-resources.
So is this something we need to vote on or approve, or is this just?
Yes, you need to approve it so that I can get it over to Andrew. If you have any questions or changes or,
Yeah, does anybody
we
have,
can
before we
discuss that.
vote, does anyone have any questions? Or you were just,
Jumping on me.
You're making the motion? I'll second
she wanted to be here.
it.
all right.
Tag team here, huh?
Everybody in favor of approving this for Robin to go on to the next steps of our budgets, say aye. Aye. Any nays? That is so approved.
And for the
Keep
record,
us updated.
holiday, that's just service level narrative, you can just call it that.
Okay.
Next thing under new business is presentation of policy updates. So this is all in your Govenda packets. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to look yet.
I must have looked too early. They weren't there when I was looking at all this.
They are not in the packets, they're in the documents folder, it says on the last page of your, I gave directions on the last page where to find them.
Yeah.
So it's okay, so where are they at again? Documents folder?
Yes, it's,
So
there's a sidebar on the left, actually, I can show you, if you like.
it's fine, no one had to look at these by today. We're gonna go through the process of when you should look at them here in a second. Let's make sure Robin knows, let's make sure everyone knows where to find them first. So I'll guess Robin's password based on the number of characters.
Unless you like early odd sci-fi shows, you know, everybody guess.
Oh.
Early odds.
A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, huh?
So there's a section over here,
Password.
documents,
Manage all that.
Is everybody seeing this?
Right.
over on the left, there's this documents thing.
Mm-hmm.
Scroll down to policy updates. And I hid all of these other ones, so you won't see these in yours, you'll just see the July proposed ones. So I put in the introduction, which is just this. It's in your packet.
Mm-hmm.
And the lending policy supplemental references, I just copied all of the Pennsylvania code and other laws that we refer to in case you were interested, so you didn't have to look them up yourself. But we have 2 policies that we're discussing today, and I'll let Bob do that, and I can pull them up as you talk about them if you like.
Yeah, so the governance committee, by the end of this year, we are gonna have approved 3 new policies for the boards. These are the 2 we have done first and we're ready to present tonight. They are the duties and responsibilities policy and the lending policy. Typically, when we have voted on policies in the past, you get like the current draft and then you get the new draft with lots of like yellow outlining of showing when and where we changed. I do not think gonna get that this time because these policies have been completely overhauled. I mean, tore up, burned, set on fire, thrown in the garbage, and we have rewritten them from scratch. You can go ahead and bring up duties and responsibilities,
The draft.
the draft, the new, yeah.
So the
Um,
current ones are always all available on our library's website.
Right,
under
so.
Policies at the bottom.
Correct, so if you really wanna compare, go to the website, pull up the old one, come to Govinda and pull up a new one.
Well,
Now-
there also is a document folder, but you can always look at any of them anytime.
I always just go to the library's website. We are going to be voting these to hopefully to approve in September because there's no August meeting, correct?
Correct.
So I would encourage you all, and we can look over briefly tonight, but I would encourage you all in the next 2 weeks to read over these with a, fine tooth comb carefully. If you have any questions, concerns, suggestions, email me. And I can forward it along to the whole board, because if the full board, if our board has concerns, we can potentially make edits and changes and have that ready to vote on in September. Or you can just come with your concerns to the September meeting, which is totally valid, but then we're gonna have to work it out there and Robin's gonna have to update before it makes it a little more complicated.
Plus, don't we have to run them by the solicitor?
Mm,
We can, we don't always absolutely have to, but we can always ask him to review and see if anything sticks out.
Basically, no one's gonna get in trouble if you bring concerns or suggestions or typos or whatever to the September meeting. But if you wanna email me in front of that so we can get ahead of stuff and be more prepared for September, that would be great.
Also, we might keep you off the Ireland list.
Yeah, that's true.
Totally kidding.
So director's duties and responsibilities, this, if Robin can scroll down, this is basically a breakdown of what the library board is responsible for, what the director is responsible for, and then what we do in joint. It's divided up, as you'll see, like those ones are governments and policy making responsibilities.
And can I just say that these policies were both so old, like they were last done in one was 2000 and I think one might have been in the 1990s, I'm not sure.
I rebuilt and rewrote.
He had to
all of this.
retype every single, there was no copy paste because the files were so old, you couldn't copy paste them.
Archaeological dig.
Again, if Robin keeps scrolling down, we have financial responsibilities. You can see that breakup between board and director as where shared financial responsibilities, personnel responsibilities, which this board does not have many, and public responsibilities. So that's pretty much the breakup. Again, the older policy was kind of organized like this, but it's completely different. I mean, our board, our staff, our director did not even remotely come close to operating how it was outlined. on that old
They had
policy.
many more, much more of the personnel work was done in-house at the library rather than by the HR
Well,
department.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong also, but that policy was like the library becoming fully under the municipality, is that correct? Or at least the municipality hadn't gotten their hands into,
It's a
hiring
whole
and-
thing, but
yeah.
not exactly.
but there were some issues that were
They tried very hard to be independent of the municipality at that time.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, one of the things that it said in all caps, I believe, if I recall, is secure adequate funding. Like, it's your responsibility to make sure that we have adequate funding, which is kind of a big ask.
There was a lot of people management on the board too, things that we just absolutely don't do. Nor would we want to.
We,
Yeah.
which,
I was gonna ask, in constructing it, you were thinking about what we already do and what Robin already does and kind of.
correct. What I feel like we did is, I feel like this policy correctly reflects how we operate as a piece of the municipality. As things currently operate with Robin, while still keeping a number of crucial activities on this board. It's not like this is something that's stripping the power away from us. It does not. It just sort of keeps that power in the things we actually deal with.
It recognizes the reality that
Right.
we are a part of the municipality and the board is appointed by the municipality and there are expectations of us, but not,
We're
not
not,
what was listed.
making staff punishments,
Um,
Robin's staff, and it
I feel like it's a
It's
lot of
crazy.
oversight. You'll see a lot of oversight type notes
Which
from
is,
the
yeah,
board. It's
yeah,
like,
primarily the role.
yeah,
And when you say program, when you say library director, you're specifically meaning the library director, not and staff.
correct.
Okay. Okay.
Although I think, is it in this policy, didn't we, somewhere we had a discussion about what happens if you are incapacitated.
Oh, like
or-
succession planning?
Yeah, isn't there, I think so.
I don't think
if
there's
it's-
anything in.
Maybe it's not in this one. I remember discussing it.
We did, because I had went to that, we had one of the sessions here and I went to the
Yeah.
succession planning one and was like, we better
Yeah.
make sure we
something.
have this, because we don't currently have a policy.
Yeah, I mean, that in reality, when I'm away, or like between the previous director and myself, Jeremy and Sharon share the duties as associate directors of the day-to-day operations.
So as you read through these over the next 2 weeks, month, what you're looking for are things that you think they're missing,
Mhm.
things that you think sound inaccurate to you. Typos, although me and Kristen are gonna be upset if you find typos, we're pretty immaculate, but it's possible.
Suzanne.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
Suzanne was the one on
Actually,
the,
you're right, maybe
on
it's
the top
Suzanne.
of it.
We're the ones who are loud about it. Suzanne
Yeah.
just very quietly goes about her work and is like, I don't think.
And fix it, it says, this is wrong, and we're like.
But seriously, yeah, things you think are missing, things that you have some questions about, maybe don't quite make sense, things like an example of this one, maybe. If you think, well, why doesn't the board have a little more say here, or why, or is the board covering this? This would be all good questions to email me or to bring to September. And then the second one is our lending policy. If Robin could pull that up. Now, this is the one, it also got a complete and full rewrite. This is the one that we originally were not planning on doing this year. But we ended up having the big discussion about e-resources and how we couldn't give them to everybody anymore. And because that stuff was all factored in the lending policy, we very quickly decided this one was going to need a complete overhaul. Once again, you can look at the original version of the lending policy and the new version. You're not gonna see a yellow lined one because the whole thing would be yellow lined. It's just a complete reworking of the entire policy. Some of the crucial things here, Robin, if you'll scroll down to Mount Lebanon residents and non-Mount Red. This is where we really tried to make everything very clear and up to date about what you need to use our services, what you get for what kind of card you have based on where you live. We think we've outlined it pretty neatly. It took multiple meetings and a couple attempts.
This looks very small compared
Yeah.
to the amount of time it took us to
Yes.
get to this, so be kind.
So you'll see like number 3, non-Mount Lebanon residents, if you look at 3.4, certain services and resources may be excluded for non-Mount Lebanon residents. Staff determines the need for limiting specific services based on cost, staff time, and other factors as needed. That's basically that catch-all coverage for we can't give Canopy and what's the Hoopla Plus and whatever, we can't give these things to everybody. So like if you read through these sections, it breaks down just in those 6 bullet points, exactly what you get if you're a Mount Lebanon resident with a card. And then those 3.1 through 3.3 really breaks down what you get if you're Allegheny County, if you're Pennsylvania, or if you're out of state.
A minor point, but since my wife went to get hers a couple of weeks ago, it's on my mind. Can you go back to 2.2, please? Not trying to sound overly picky. Should it say driver's license or real ID?
We can absolutely make.
Well, we
Okay.
did put the et cetera in there
Okay, as sort of a catch-all. Okay,
because
that's fair.
we
That's
went
fair.
down a rabbit hole for that
You could put
also.
everything in there, be
that-
that careful.
Yeah,
It
so,
also says a photographic ID card is preferred, which would be a real ID.
Okay, that's good. The.
I don't mind, I mean, how common are, I mean, I have like the real
I
ID
just
stamp
went
on my
in
driver's
that one.
license.
Yeah,
I mean,
Nicole
aren't
got
they just
hers, that's
driver's
why it's on my
licenses with,
mind,
like, a
you know.
star on them?
That's what I thought, that's what I thought.
yeah, that's why we use et cetera.
So is real ID like a separate card from your driver's license for some people?
I think it's sort of like your driver's license on steroids. so to
Right,
speak, but
mine
legal
just has a
steroids.
star that says real
Yeah,
ID on it.
Yeah,
that's-
it's like your period. I just had to do it the day before we left for
Nah,
vacation.
If
when
it's,
we realized
if it's
my
just a super
driver's
driver's
Took me a
license.
month,
it's
but
still a
it's
driver's
Okay.
license.
5 trips to Steubenville to get.
Really?
It's not something that
I
like,
had a passport, so.
we have to worry too much about, but I just happened to think.
And I didn't change my
Yeah, I
name
think
when I.
Yeah,
carried
otherwise I
it.
think it's good.
Old and lazy, that's
For us to review, I mean.
Yeah.
So once I just smacked down the birth certificate.
This, you're okay. No, you're fine. This one goes on a little longer. If Robin can scroll down, you'll see some responsibility of borrowers, what happens if people don't return things and overdo stuff and stuff like that.
It's really just cleaned up.
Yeah, it's really simplified. I mean, some of these things were so many pages and so complex and so out of date. We tried to simplify everything as much as possible.
Sometimes
So-
you should read the old one though, because they're hilarious. Unintended.
Which the really funny one is the third one, which we'll talk about in a
Yeah.
minute, but,
However,
so again, these are officially submitted to the board. Email me if you have questions, concerns, comments. We will discuss and hopefully vote to approve in September.
Mhm.
If discussion ends up being more complicated or more heated than I think, then ideally we will get them in perfect shape so that we're all, so that we can put together a copy and then vote the next month. But ideally, we'd be voting to approve in September.
If it's approved in September, how quickly can we place it into effect? I'm thinking like-
It's in effect immediately. It's up to Jeremy's fingers how fast it gets up on the website.
Okay.
And sometimes we.
I
yeah.
Next
think
morning. if you-
Commission will need to know that about the lending policy, limiting the more expensive e-resources like Hoopla and Canopy. So they don't think we're asking them to budget money for service level narrative number 4.
Yeah, that's a good
They're
point.
giving
That's a very
out
good
of
point.
state people,
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
asking them to spend money on out of state
Right.
people.
Well,
Okay,
and there
that's good.
is, and we do have something in there about out-of-state cards. Now that the Allegheny County Library Association has taken that over and off our hands. Basically, anyone out of state that wants a card pays $60 for 2 years, for a 2-year card, valid for 2 years. And that all goes to the Allegheny County Library Association, and that entire $60 goes towards e-resources spending in the county. It doesn't reduce our individual library contributions. It just goes on top to help reduce the holds ratios and things like that. And they've made quite a bit of money already.
We do have a third policy that's gonna be done this year. It's the computer use policy. And you wanna talk about up to date. If you guys want a good laugh, go read our current computer use policy, which says things like, the internet is a new and scary place and we must find ways to
it's hilarious.
regulate it.
It's
And
hilarious.
like, there's like a lot of talk about computer disks and zero talk about Wi-Fi, because it's not a thing that existed.
It really goes deep into like the evils of the internet too, which maybe we all need to revisit a little bit. It's
So,
funny. It's
How
funny.
wrong was that really?
It
we-
was really funny.
We have been working on it. We have a draft sort of done. It borrows somewhat heavily from with Carnegie's,
Yeah.
which is really, we looked at a bunch of 3 or 4 different computer policies that Robin grabbed for us. Carnegie's is by far the best. So we cribbed a little bit of that, took a couple things that carried over from our old one, and then used our own brains to try to simplify it. The new one does deal with Wi-Fi and it deals with all kinds of things. That one is held up a little bit because we are waiting to hear about website filtering. Don't forget, you need to ask all about website filtering for us. But the goal is to, after we hopefully approve these 2 in September, we'll be presenting that one to you to vote on in the next meeting. So the goal is to have these 3 done by the end of the year. The computer one is not gonna be long at all. We've already cut it in like half at least. But I like what we have so far, and that will be ready for you in September. Any question about any of that? We worked very hard. We hope you enjoy.
If you have questions, I'm sure it's something we have discussed at length.
Yeah.
Bravo to all of you. You gotta get in the weeds with these,
Oh,
you know?
we
You
do.
gotta get in the weeds. Bravo to
And I don't
bravo to
think
all.
any of our meetings this year have lasted less than 2 hours. They put a
Yeah.
lot of work into this.
We have a good time though.
Our goal, what do we always say that like, if this entire room dies on our trip to Ireland, that the
I don't
next,
think we've ever said
that the
Somebody
next,
please tell me about this trip to Ireland.
The governance committee is going to Ireland.
And I've decided we can spin it as a library trip because the Book of Kells is in Dublin,
We just
which
have to
is.
take minutes for everything. We'll
Yes.
have to hire somebody holiday. You can't take minutes the whole time.
So
It's gonna be a
we're
public
gonna have a
meeting.
library trip to Ireland.
When?
Whenever we all.
Just for the record, if anybody actually watches this.
That's
is-
not actually happening.
it's more of a pipe dream.
Unless I win the lottery, in which case we are.
We'll go virtually. All right.
Nobody wants to go to Ireland virtually.
Well, at least you're going to Ireland.
No, you're not.
We do say though that like a new board and a new director could step in and look at these policies and it would be pretty clear
Yeah.
on how things work. That's the hope.
We really keep that part, like, we know this isn't always gonna be what
Mhm.
the situation is, so. Trying to.
And do not hesitate to email me about any little thing. If you see a comma you think there needs to be, email me. It's all good. I live for that stuff. That is it for that. I will pass those back tomorrow. I feel like. Do we have any other new business that was not on the agenda?
We have to pay for the basket.
Some of us did before you got
Oh,
here, Kristen,
okay.
so.
$20.
Do you have them?
Okay, you guys can figure that out after. Other than that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Moved, so moved.
Can I get a second to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor of adjourning? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I doubt there are any nays for adjourning. Do we want to do advocacy or do you guys want to go home? Nobody's moving. Advocacy?